Welcome to the Lowenstein Sandler podcast series, the Women's Initiative Network, Real Talk. I'm Rachel Dickovics, counsel in Lowenstein's White Collar Defense Practice Group and a member of the Women's Initiative Network at Lowenstein Sandler. Before we begin, please take a moment to subscribe to our podcast series at lowenstein.com/podcast or find us on iTunes, Spotify, Pandora, or SoundCloud. Now let's take a listen.
Welcome to Coffee Chats with Win, a Women's Initiative Network series where we sit down with inspiring women to talk candidly about the choices, challenges, and moments that have shaped their careers.
We're your hosts. I'm Jessica Stewart, and that's Lauren Russell. We're associates here at Lowenstein Sandler. In each episode, we'll share practical insights on risk-taking, building strong teams, and navigating the early years of practice, along with a few personal stories that remind us we're all human. Pour yourself a cup and settle in as we learn how today's guest got here, what she's learned along the way, and most importantly, how she takes her coffee. Hi, Kathryn. Thank you for joining us today. I'll turn it over to you if you can introduce yourself.
Oh, sure. Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Kathryn Daniel, and I'm a Trust and Estates Associate based in Lowenstein's DC office.
Great. So how'd you end up here today? Can you please provide us a brief career overview?
Yeah. So I graduated law school in 2024. So I'm a second year here. And before law school, I actually moved abroad to Oslo, Norway to attend grad school. So I was there for about 2.5 years. And then before that, I worked as an editor. So living in both New York and San Francisco, but I'm originally from North Carolina.
What do you think is the biggest risk that you have taken in your career, either as a lawyer or pre-law school?
I'll go with pre-law school since I'm just a second year. But I'd say the biggest risk that I've taken so far in the career that I'm trying to forge is quitting my job as an editor and moving abroad for grad school. I was 28 at the time, and I found out that graduate programs were much more affordable abroad, specifically in the Nordic region. And for those who know me, they know I love to travel. And so I was just trying to find a way to experience life abroad. And when I caught wind of that possibility, I started to look into it more. And I applied and was accepted into the University of Oslo, where I studied the philosophy of media. And so even though I remember telling my parents, I'm going to move abroad and do this, and it took them some time to wrap their heads around it because I had a great job at the time, but it turned out to be one of the best experiences of my life. And it really did give me the time and space that I also needed to solidify why I eventually wanted to go to law school. And then here I am.
That's great. So we typically ask our guests, what do you look for when building a team? Because they tend to be more senior. Kathryn is, similar level to Jessica and me. So instead, what do you look for when joining a team?
Oh, that's a great question. Yeah, I would say, approachability for sure. So working as a Trust and Estates Associate, our practice group is small but mighty. And it's just been such a pleasure so far because I am the most junior on our team. And then, the people who are above me in seniority, everyone is just incredibly generous with their time and very approachable, which to me creates a learning environment that is just you want to be a part of. And so it helps to just keep my intellectual curiosity flowing since, as with so many areas of law, the learning curve in that practice group is incredibly steep. So I would say approachability. And then, I'd also say just the positivity, a positive attitude, because as we all know, this job can be stressful. And so having team members who can help just ease any type of stress or anxiety and just, come forth with more of a positive energy. I am a firm believer that energy is contagious. And so the energy you put off and perhaps the energy that you're around there, it can kind of merge. And so I try to be mindful of that as well. And it's just nice to be a part of a team that is positive and takes a can-do approach with things.
What is a piece of advice that you would give either to a first-year associate or maybe a law student or someone thinking about going to law school?
a piece of advice that I have to also remind myself of constantly is to learn how to get comfortable with the uncomfort that can stem from this role. And the learning curve is so steep. And I have to remind myself, and I would remind others, that it's going to take a long time to be able to kind of wrap your mind around some things. And that's okay. It's more about, let's say, continuing to be intellectually curious. And I remember one of my professors in law school, Professor Amy Widman, she taught me torts. And she also told me, she said, this is called the practice of law. It's not called mastering law. This is a constant practice. And that's what makes it fun, right? Keeping that on top of mind.
On a more personal note, where can we find you on an ideal Saturday afternoon? And I want it on the record that Kathryn just summited Mount Kilimanjaro, but I don't know if that's her ideal Saturday.
Oh my gosh. Well, if the weather is nice, definitely being outdoors. As you alluded to, Lauren, I love hiking and, also road tripping. So whether it's just a short little getaway or, like a week-long road trip, I love camping. And then I really want this spring, I want to get into rock climbing. I took a rock climbing class as one of my PE courses in undergrad way back when, and I miss it. So I'm planning to take an intro to rock climbing course here in DC, which I'm looking forward to.
And now for our most important question, how do you take your coffee?
Oh, I love coffee. So I will take it anyway. But let's see, my preference, well, because I drink so much of it, I have to usually just keep it black with, let's say, a splash of any type of plant-based milk. So yeah, and iced, or I don't know, just all of it.
Thanks so much for joining us today, Kathryn.
Oh, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
We hope that today's conversation offered you a perspective you can use, whether you're charting your next move, mentoring the next generation, or simply looking for a dose of motivation with your morning brew. If you enjoyed the episode, please follow the series and share it with a colleague. Until next time, keep investing in your growth and your community, and don't forget to tell us, how do you take your coffee?
Thank you for listening to today's episode. Please subscribe to our podcast series at lowenstein.com/podcasts or find us on iTunes, Spotify, Pandora, or SoundCloud. Lowenstein Sandler podcast series are presented by Lowenstein Sandler and cannot be copied or rebroadcast without consent. The information provided is intended for a general audience. It is not legal advice or substitute for the advice of counsel. Prior results do not guarantee a similar outcome. The content reflects the personal views and opinions of the participants. No attorney-client relationship is being created by this podcast, and all rights are reserved.